I hate that guy. Elijah. He really knows how to get in my head. Oh, no! I keep my head down, weaving through the crowded hallway, my pulse loud in my ears. If I move fast enough, keep my eyes low, make myself small. Maybe today, he won't notice me. Maybe today, I'll make it through without a bruise, without the quiet sting of humiliation. Hey, Elijah! Look who it is! Shit! They saw me! Hey, loser! Shit, that voice. I know that damn too well. The voice, lazy, taunting, curled around me, making my stomach twist. Elijah! Too late. Damn it. That's Elijah. Broad shoulders, a pair of perfectly violet eyes, and a scar that complements his face, no doubt about it. I tighten my grip on my backpack strap, knuckles white. Just keep walking. Just make it to class. If I ignored him, if I didn't react, maybe this time he'd get bored. I run! You really think you could run away from me? Yes? Elijah's voice is low, edged with amusement. A cold shiver runs down my spine. I barely had time to react before an arm, heavy, unyielding, slammed around my shoulders, stopping me cold. The weight of it was suffocating. Elijah's cologne, expensive, overpowering, clung to the air, sharp enough to make my stomach twist. Just when I needed him most. Where the hell is Mark? Who the hell is Mark? I scanned the hallway, searching for Mark. Too bad. Your knight in shining armor isn't here to save you. What do you want? Luke let out a low chuckle. He turned to the others, grinning. You hear that? Clarky boy's got some bite now. Laughter rippled through the hallway, sharp and mocking. Elijah's grip tightened, amusement dripping from his voice. I went rigid. I wasn't in the mood for this. Not today. Where are you off to in such a hurry? It's just trying to get to class without dealing with your crap. Oh, come on. You'd miss it if I left you alone. That nickname. He always says it like we're friends. Like this is all just some harmless joke. I rolled my eyes, shoving his arm off with more force than necessary, and stepping away. My skin still burned where he touched me, like his presence left a mark I couldn't scrub off. Oh, Clarky boy's gotten stronger now. Look at him go. More laughter, loud, mocking, suffocating. My pulse pounded in my ears, but I refused to let him see how much he got to me. I wouldn't give them this satisfaction. Not today. Not so fast, see. Before I could take another step, Elijah was there. Close. Too close. His breath, cool and minty, ghosted against my skin, but it might as well have been fire. My body tensed on instinct. His smirk deepened, slow and deliberate, as he leaned in, lips hovering near my ear, just enough to make my skin prickle. Running already. But we were just starting to have fun. I'll give you 3 seconds. His face was stoic while his voice was low, teasing, almost daring. You better run before I catch you. A slow, deliberate pause, long enough to make my pulse spike. Or else, who knows what I might do. Are you gonna pound me? The smirk cut deeper this time, sharp, knowing. And just like that, he let me go. But even as I stepped back, that smirk never left his face. I am gonna run! I know better than to stay! I start running as if my life depended on it. Fuck, why is it always me? didn't dare look back, but I could hear it. His low, amused chuckle trailing after me. I knew he wasn't chasing me. He didn't have to. He was still watching, waiting, like a predator who already knew exactly when and where he'd strike next. I was running too fast, too desperate to escape Elijah. That's when I slammed into something. No, someone hard. What? The impact sent me scrawling to the ground, my palms scraping against the floor. Ah, great. Just my luck. Why am I blinking so much? Before I could even process the humiliation, a voice, calm, steady, tinged with concern, cut through the chaos. Are you alright? That voice, even in my sleep, I'd recognize it. Mark? His name barely left my lips before he was already in front of me, eyes scanning every inch of me like he was checking for damage. Clark! Are you okay? Concern crossed his brows, his gaze sharp, calculating. What's going on? Why were you running like that? Then, as if the pieces clicked together, his expression shifted, his jaw tightening, his shoulders squaring. Don't tell me. Panic shot through me. I quickly shook my head, lifting a hand to stop him before he did something reckless. If I told him the truth, he'd go straight for Elijah. Clark, tell me the truth. His voice was low, controlled, but I could hear the storm brewing beneath. Did Elijah pull one of his stunts again? I'ma tell him the truth. Yeah. I tried to steady my voice, but the way Mark's expression darkened told me I failed. That guy. His hands clenched into fists, and for a second, I thought he might storm off. Don't worry, he didn't do anything to me. I forced a smile, trying to brush it off. Let's just go. But, forget it, let's go. Something in my voice must have given me away because Mark hesitated, his eyes searching mine. Then, after a long pause and a tight sigh, he let it go. For now. I got it, but if my cousin bothers you again, you tell me. Got it? I nodded, though we both knew I probably wouldn't. Mark exhaled sharply, taking a hand through his hair. His frustration was clear, but he didn't push. Instead, he just walked beside me, matching my pace. Let's get to class before the professor throws both of us out. I let out a small chuckle, the tension finally easing, if only a little. Mark is my best friend and, unfortunately, my nemesis's cousin. The two get along just fine, except when it comes to me. More often than not, Mark finds himself stuck in the middle, playing referee in a game he never signed up for. Still, no matter how much trouble Elijah throws my way, Mark never turns his back on me. Without him, I don't think I'd survive my days at this school. Because, out of everyone, he's the only one who truly sees through me. The only one who knows just how much I pretend to be fine. We're in biology class, the only subject where I didn't have to see him. I sighed, a small relief. I sat next to Mark in our usual spot at the back of the room. I was trying to concentrate, but Mark kept nudging me. I did my best to ignore him, focusing on the lecture, but he wasn't giving up. Psst, Clark. Come on, just look at me for a second. Still ignoring. Fine, you leave me no choice. A second later, he poked my side, hard. Dude, quit it! Oh, so now you hear me. What do you want? Mark leaned in, lowering his voice. I just thought you'd want to know. I waited. Your beloved nemesis is standing outside. My stomach dropped. I whipped my head towards the door. Empty. You... Clark! Gotcha! I groaned, dropping my head onto my desk. I hate you. Love you too, buddy. But seriously, though, You ready for this Saturday? Oh, crap! The words shot out my mouth before I could stop them, loud enough that half the class turned to stare. One girl even raised an eyebrow, like I just confessed to a murder. I cleared my throat, attempting damage control. Yeah, totally. Saturday. Can't wait. You forgot, didn't you? I forced a grin. Nah, just, dramatically emphasizing my excitement. He didn't buy it. Neither did my sinking stomach. Damn it, you're right. I totally forgot about that. Mark smirked, clearly savoring my misery. I knew it. I ran a hand through my hair, groaning. How the hell did I forget prom? Mark chuckled, leaning back like he had all the time in the world. 'Cause you spent half your life dodging my cousin and the other half stress-eating in denial? I shot him a glare. He had no right to be this accurate. Great. Just great. I don't even have anything to wear. Mark stretched his arms behind his head, looking disgustingly pleased with himself. Lucky for you, I saw this coming. We're going shopping after class. I groaned again, dropping my head onto the desk, but honestly, I was relieved. I didn't even realize class had ended until I noticed students packing up, their chatter buzzing around me like background noise. With Mark off to his next class, I was officially free. Instead of doing something productive like, I don't know, panic about prom, I dragged myself to the library. At least there, no one would judge me for silently spiraling. I sank into my usual seat at the furthest corner, away from everyone. With a slow exhale, I rubbed a hand over my face. I hated him. I hated how he always managed to sink his claws into my day, twisting it into something unbearable. Reaching into my bag, I pulled out a book, my usual escape plan. But the words blurred together, useless against the storm in my head. My hands wouldn't stop shaking. This was my reality. There was no escaping him. I was flipping through the pages, trying to focus when... crunch. Pain shot through my foot. What the? I jerked up, only to find him. Oh, see. There he was, holding a book, sitting next to me, pretending he hadn't done anything. Shit, what the hell was he even doing here? What do you want this time? I kept my voice low, resisting the urge to launch my book at his smug face. Are you following me? Elijah snorted. Me? Damn, see. You really do know how to make me laugh. He glanced up, met my eyes with that infuriating smirk, then casually went back to his book, like he hadn't just stomped into my personal space and my foot. Despite his insufferable attitude, I couldn't deny the truth. Elijah was smart. Annoyingly smart. Top student in our class, the only football player with both brawn and brains. A living, breathing overachiever wrapped in an ego too big for this library. I stole a glance at him from the corner of my eye. He was completely absorbed into his book, like I wasn't even there. Then, without looking up, he mumbled something under his breath, too soft for me to catch. What did you say? Elijah didn't answer right away. He just repeated it, but so faintly I still couldn't make it out. Before I could press him, movement across the room caught his attention. One of his friends had spotted him and was making their way towards us. One of his friends saw him and started going in our direction? Damn it! Oh wait, no, that was Elijah. What? With an irritated sigh, Elijah dropped the book onto the table with a loud thud, finally looked at me. Forget it. Then just like that, he grabbed his bag and walked off, leaving me sitting there, thoroughly bewildered. I watched him disappear through the door, my brain still catching up. What the hell is his problem? I exhaled, shaking my head. At least he's gone. For now. But knowing Elijah, peace and quiet were temporary luxuries. I barely made it through the day without snapping. Every second felt like a walking tightrope over a pit of irritation. By the time the final bell rang, I was out, bolting from class, ignoring the whispers, the laughter, the lingering stares. Yeah, I was used to it. Had to be used to it. Elijah hadn't pulled anything major today, but the small jab still clung to me like thorns, brushing against me when I least expected it, cutting through just enough to sting. Just enough to remind me he was still there. Just like Mark had promised, we headed to the nearest shop to find something for me to wear to prom. To be honest, I wasn't excited about this. Not at all. No date, no enthusiasm, just a deep sense of regret for not coming up with a better excuse to bail. But Mark, oh, he was determined, practically dragging me through the door like a man on a mission. After what felt like an eternity of browsing through the racks of suits, I took a suit, ready to try it on. I still don't see the point in any of this. Mark crossed his arms, giving me a look that screamed, "I will physically fight you if you keep whining." The point is, you're actually going to have fun for once. Now stop sulking and go try it on. I sighed, knowing there was no winning against him. Dragging myself into the fitting room, I yanked the curtain shut and slipped into the suit. Adjusting the jacket, I smoothed out the fabric. It fit surprisingly well. Not too tight, not too loose. I turned slightly, checking myself out in the mirror. Not bad, I guess. I guess this'll do. I stepped out hesitantly, bracing myself, and sure enough, Mark's grin was practically splitting his face. See? Told you it'd sit you. Damn! You actually clean up nice. I rolled my eyes, already regretting this. Gee, thanks. Glad to know I usually look like a mess. Mark just shrugged, completely unbothered. Hey, I'm just saying, if you walk into prom looking like this, someone's bound to ask you to dance. I scoffed, adjusting my sleeves. Right, because that's exactly what I'm looking forward to. Mark smirked, arms crossed, looking way too pleased at himself. You never know, Clark. Prom might surprise you. I highly doubted that. After what felt like forever, I finally settled on the gray suit. Knew it. That one suits you perfectly. I sighed, shaking my head as he smirked in triumph, looking way too smug for someone who just bullied me into shopping. After paying for the suit, we stepped out of the store and lingered for a moment. Alright, guess this is where we part ways. Try not to overthink prom too much, okay? No promises. Mark chuckled, giving me a playful shove. Figured. Just don't show up looking like you're attending a funeral. Yeah, I rolled my eyes, watching him walk up before letting out a slow breath. Turning towards home, I adjusted my bag on my shoulder. Somehow, it felt heavier than it should. Maybe it was just a suit. Or maybe it was the feeling that prom was going to be way more trouble than it was worth. The second I stepped inside, I locked the door, tossed my backpack to the floor, and let out a breath I didn't know I was even holding. I'm tired. Safe. For now. I hung the suit I just bought and opened my laptop. As my laptop powered on, I let my fingers hover over the keyboard, my mind still restless from the day. Logging into the Haven always felt like stepping into another world, one where reality couldn't reach me. Here, I wasn't Clark the loser, or Clark, Elijah's personal punching bag. Here, I was just Eclipse 00. No expectations, no judgment, just me. The screen flickered to life, the familiar, comforting blue glow filling the room. I navigated to the Haven with practiced ease, logging in as Eclipse 00 and letting out a breath I hadn't realized I was holding. Tonight, I wasn't here for long conversations. I wasn't looking for any deep chats or any heart-to-heart talk. I just needed a distraction, something to drown out the noise of reality, even for just a little while. The forum slowly loaded, the usual usernames flooding the page, some familiar, others anonymous. I clicked on one of the random chat rooms. As expected, the usual flow of conversations was already underway. People were debating music, trashing the latest blockbuster, and exchanging random late-night thoughts. The kind of meaningless chatter that made reality feel a little less real. I scrolled idly, tossing in a few replies here and there when something caught my eye. For some reason, it made my fingers pause above the keyboard. I stared at the screen. My fingers hesitated over the keyboard. The words felt too real, too close to home. Anyone else hate it when you have to pretend to be someone you're not because you're scared to be judged by others? The words hit harder than I wanted to admit. Curious, I clicked on their profile. Nothing. No picture, no bio, just a blank slate. Just another faceless user, lost in the sea of anonymity. And yet, the message made my chest tighten. I exhaled slowly, hesitating for only a second before typing. Yeah, it sucks. It's exhausting pretending all the time. I hit send before I could second-guess myself. A few seconds passed, then another reply appeared. Exactly. The worst part? Sometimes you pretend so much, you forget who you even are. I swallowed hard. How was it that a stranger on the internet was putting into words everything I'd been too afraid to admit? A brief silence stretched between messages. My screen remained still, save for the blinking cursor. Then, the Shadow Wolf is typing? I leaned forward slightly, my heart picking up pace for no logical reason. And then, but maybe facing is the only way to stop it from swallowing you whole. Damn. I blinked. My breath hitched slightly. That wasn't the response I'd expected. Not pity, not some vague attempt at comforting me, just the raw, simple truth. For a while, I didn't type anything. The words sat heavy on my chest, like they had lodged themselves somewhere deep inside. Finally, I let out a slow breath and started typing. Easier said than done. A longer pause this time. Then out of nowhere, something unexpected appeared on the screen. Yeah, but maybe it's easier if you're not doing it alone. My fingers froze. The hell was that supposed to mean? I swallowed, my fingers tightening around the edge of my desk. What do you mean? A pause. The typing bubble appeared, disappeared, then reappeared. Just saying, sometimes it helps to have someone who gets it. I stared at the screen, a weird feeling creeping up my spine. Something about this conversation felt different, more personal. You talk like you know me. This time the response came faster. Maybe I do. My breath hitched. The hell? I blinked at the screen, my heart pounding a little harder than it should. What's that supposed to mean? The typing bubble flickered again, appearing, disappearing, hesitating, then... Relax, just saying. You're not alone. I exhaled, tension easing just a bit. Maybe I was overthinking it. Just another faceless username trying to be deep. Right, well, thanks for the pep talk, mystery dude. I hovered over the chat window, debating whether to close it. But then... See you at prom. My stomach dropped! Wait, what? I stared at my screen, my pulse thudding in my ears. This had to be some kind of joke, a coincidence. I tried refreshing the chat. Nothing. Shadow Wolf was gone. Offline. Leaning back in my chair, I ran a hand over my face. you at prom? The words repeated in my head. Who the hell was Shadow Wolf? And more importantly, how did they know who I was? I left a message, hoping they'll reply once they read it. Who are you? Do I know you? I was so exhausted, I didn't realize I fell asleep. The next thing I knew, the soft glow of morning light was creeping through the windows. I squinted at the clock. 7 a.m. Damn it! Class starts at 8! Panic jolted me awake as I scrambled up the stairs, rushing to my room. As I grabbed my uniform, my eyes landed on my laptop, still sitting on my desk. A sinking feeling hit me. Damn, I forgot to check if Shadow Wolf replied. For a split second, I debated checking it now, but a glance at the clock shut that idea down real fast. Maybe after class, if I even survive today without running into Elijah. With a sigh, I shoved my phone into my bag and hurried to get ready. By the time I got to school, the hallways were already packed. I kept my head down, dodging past groups of students, hoping to make it to class without incident. Without thinking, I headed straight to my usual spot, only to stop dead in my tracks. Someone was already sitting there. His physique, the way he sat so casually like he owned the place, was all way too familiar. I froze. Elijah. Oh, of course, it's not like it was the name of the game! You've got to be kidding me. Elijah looked up. His usual smirk was nowhere to be seen. Instead, he was staring at me, his expression unreadable. You look like hell, see? Didn't sleep? Not that it's any of your business. Elijah leaned back in the chair, arms crossed, looking entirely too smug. Took you long enough. I was starting to think you weren't coming. My jaw tightened. Of all the empty seats in this classroom, he just had to take mine. You're in my seat. He raised an eyebrow, feigning innocence. Oh, really? Didn't see your name on it. I exhaled sharply, debating whether it was worth the argument this early in the morning. Maybe I should just sit somewhere else and avoid the headache. But then Elijah tilted his head, his smirk deepening. Unless you want to share? I rolled my eyes so hard I nearly saw the back of my skull. Not in a million years. Shame. Could have been fun. He finally stood up, taking his sweet time before moving to the seat beside mine. I pulled out my chair and sat down, not sparing him a glance. There, your seat. Elijah leaned in just slightly, voice dropping. Hope you don't mind if I stay close, though. I ignored him, dropping my bag on the desk with more force than necessary. This was going to be a long class. Things hadn't been really like this. It all started last year when I accidentally saw him. It wasn't like I meant to, it just happened. It was after school and I had stayed late to work on a project. I was heading towards the exit when I passed the music room. The door was slightly open and for whatever reason, maybe curiosity, maybe just plain bad luck, I glanced outside. And there he was, Elijah West, the guy who made my life a living hell, sitting at the piano, completely lost in the music. I remember freezing, gripping my book tightly as I watched his fingers glide effortlessly over the keys. The melody was soft, almost melancholic, so different from the smug, arrogant persona he wore at school. His usual sneer was gone, replaced by something unreadable, something real. I should have walked away, should have minded my own business, but I didn't. Then, as if sensing my presence, he looked up. Our eyes met, and for a split second, I saw something in his expression, something almost vulnerable. But then his face hardened. He slammed the piano lid shut and stood up, his usual cocky smirk slipping back into place like a mask. What? Never seen a piano before, loser? I stammered, completely caught off guard. Before I could even think of a response, he was already striding towards me. Got nothing to say? Figures. Stay out of my business. Then he shoved past me like nothing had happened. Like I hadn't just seen a completely different side of him. From that day on, everything changed. Elijah West wasn't just the school's golden boy anymore. He became my personal nightmare. The teasing got worse. The pranks became relentless. It was as if he wanted to erase that moment in the music room, to make sure I never thought of him as anything but my tormentor. And maybe, just maybe, I started hating him a little bit more for it. Because for a split second that day, before he saw me, before he put his mask back on, Elijah West wasn't my enemy. He was just a boy, lost in his own music. And now, every time he smirked at me in the halls, every time he shoved me against a locker or called me a name, I wondered if he ever thought about that moment too. If he ever wondered what would have happened if I hadn't seen him at all. But it didn't matter. That version of Elijah West wasn't real. The real Elijah was the one who made my life hell. And as long as I stayed out of his way, maybe, just maybe, I could survive the rest of the year. A light tug on my sleeve yanked me back to reality. What? I muttered, blinking. He looked at me and pointed his lips in front. Elijah tilted his head towards the front of the room. I followed his gaze. Our professor stood there, arms crossed, one brow raised in clear disapproval. He prickled my skin as I glanced around. Every eye in the room was on me. Some students smirked, others outright laughed. What's wrong with him today? I heard someone whisper from the corner and then started giggling. My throat felt dry. What just happened? A sigh, a slow tap of fingers against the desk. If you're not ready to listen to my class, you can leave. It's open after all. As he slung his backpack over one shoulder, Elijah stood. Without warning, he suddenly grabbed me by my arm. What are you? Mr. Elijah, what exactly do you think you're doing? Elijah turned to her with a wide smirk, all for innocence. Just following instructions. I shot him a glare. I don't! He leaned in slightly, his grip firm. Like it or not, you're coming with me. Muffled laughter rippled through the room. Wow, Clarky! Getting princess carried next. Elijah scoffed. He's too heavy for that. More chuckles. My face burned. If you two are done with your little soap opera, I'd like to continue my lesson. Elijah didn't let go. Instead, he started walking, dragging me along like some misplaced luggage. At least pretend to struggle, Clarky. This is starting to look consensual. Liu called out. Laughter erupted again. My face heated. Let go! I gritted out, trying to yank my arm back. Elijah barely glanced at me, his grip like iron. Quit whining. You heard the professor. Doors open. That wasn't an invitation! We were almost at the door when the professor sighed, long, exhausted. Mr. Elijah, if you leave this room, don't bother coming back. Elijah stopped, turned slightly, smirked. Oh? That easy. No paperwork, no dramatic farewell speech. The professor pinched the bridge of her nose. Sit down. Elijah gave a lazy shrug. You heard her, Clark. We live to fight another day. He finally let go and flopped back into his chair like this was all some minor inconvenience. I exhaled sharply, rubbing my wrist. Thanks for the unnecessary abduction attempt. He only grinned. Anytime. I slumped into my seat, trying to ignore the lingering heat of humiliation on my face. The professor sighed and turned back to the board, muttering something under her breath that sounded suspiciously like unbelievable. Elijah looked completely at ease, stretching out in his chair like he hadn't just dragged me halfway across the room. Mason leaned over his desk, grinning. You guys should have just kissed. Would have been a lot more entertaining. I shot him a glare. Shut up. Hey, I'm saying. Mason continued, barely holding back his laughter. Elijah's got his hands all over you. The tension is real. Okay, are y'all bullying me or are y'all trying to hook us up? Elijah, without missing a beat, rested his chin in his palm and smirked. Can you blame me? I nearly choked on my own breath. Are you... What the hell is wrong with you? Where do I even start? Oh, wait, that's Elijah. Where do I even start? Luke snickered from behind. Damn, Clark, you must be special. Never seen Elijah this invested in anyone before. I groaned, rubbing my temples. Can everyone just shut up so we can get through this class without any more? Buzzed? A phone vibrated loudly on a desk. The professor's hand shot out like a viper, snatching up the device. She flipped it over, reading the screen before looking up. Mr. Elijah? Elijah blinked. Yeah? Would you like to explain why Clarky Boo is calling you right now? The room went silent! I felt my soul leave my body! Luke howled with laughter, practically falling out of his chair. Mason was wheezing. Someone in the back let out an exaggerated "No!" Elijah just grinned. Guess he couldn't just resist me. I'm going to kill him! My brain short-circuited. Clarky Boo! I whipped around to Elijah, my face burning. What's the actual... Elijah was already reaching for his phone, smirking like this was the highlight of his day. Damn, Clark. Didn't know we were at pet name status already. Luke was laughing, gasping for air. Bro, Clarky Boo? That is precious. Mason wiped a fake tear. Oh, young love is so beautiful. I clenched my fist. That is not my number. Give me that. Elijah effortlessly held the phone out of reach. Relax. It's just a little customization. The professor, who had been silently watching this circus, finally exhaled, slowly. Like she was considering all her life choices. Mr. Elijah, Mr. Clark, if you two are finished with your domestic dispute, may I continue my lesson? Laughter rippled through the room again. Elijah, looking completely unbothered, shrugged. Of course, Professor. We wouldn't want to keep you from your very important lecture. I said lower in my chair, glaring at my desk like I could will it to swallow me whole. Elijah leaned in, voice low enough that only I could hear. Don't worry, Clarky Boo. I'll change it to something romantic next time. I am going to kill him! I spent the rest of the lecture pretending I didn't exist. Unfortunately, that strategy failed miserably because Elijah existed. The second the professor dismissed us, I got up from my seat, fully prepared to flee. Too slow. Elijah draped an arm over my shoulders, all smug warmth and zero shame. Where are you off to, Clarky? Gotta update your diary with Elijah was insufferable today before you forget? I elbowed him hard. Let go. So violent. And after I made you so popular today. I groaned, rubbing my temples. You made me the laughingstock of the entire class. Look at you. You look like a tomato. Before I could cuss him out properly, my phone buzzed. A notification from him. I frowned. I clicked it and immediately wished for death. Since you love glaring at your desk so much, here's something to look at instead. Attached is a new contact name, Clark, my one and only idiot. I turned to him, seething. Elijah grinned, waggling his finger in a tiny wave. Romantic enough for you? I am going to kill him, and this time, no one will find the body! I stood there, gripping my phone like he had personally betrayed me. Change it back. I could just do that myself! Elijah hummed, pretending to think it over. Nah. Elijah! Clark! You should be thanking me. Now, every time someone calls you, you'll feel loved. Oh, I feel something all right. The urge to commit a felony. He smirked, clearly thriving on my suffering. If it makes you feel better, it could change mine too. Maybe Elijah, Clark's eternal devoted husband. I choked on air! Do not! He grinned wider, already typing. I swear. Too late, my phone buzzed again. I stared at the new name under his contact. Husband, best decision Clark ever made. My soul left my body. I am going to throw this phone into traffic. What? Elijah took the phone in my hand and patted my head like I was some tragic little creature, which Clark totally is. I opened my mouth and shut it. I needed a plan. A real plan. Because I didn't get revenge. If I didn't get revenge for this, I would never know peace again. Step 1, get my phone back. Step 2, destroy Elijah's will to live. Simple, effective, foolproof. Or at least, that was the idea. I launched for my phone, aiming straight for his smug little face. He dodged easily, the bastard, stepping back with the kind of grace that made me want to trip him on principle. Really, Clark? That's your strategy? Just blindly charging in? Give it back! Make me. Oh, I couldn't resist it when someone says that. Oh my god, I can't. I really can't. Oh my god, I am going to. I lunged again, this time grabbing the front of his shirt for leverage. If I could just... Elijah shifted at the last second. I'd stumbled forward. And then... Our lips crashed together! Time stopped. My brain short-circuited. For a second, all I could register was the feeling. Warm, firm, way too close. My breath hitched. My fingers still curled in his stupid shirt. Elijah, for once in his life, was completely still. And then... Whoa! I mean, this is something straight out of a fanfic, so I'm not surprised. A loud chorus of reactions exploded from our classmates. I jerked back so fast I nearly gave myself whiplash. Elijah blinked, processing, then the slowest, smuggest grin spread across his face. Well, if you wanted to kiss me, you could have just said so. I wanted to die! Immediately! My face burned hotter than the sun! That was an accident! Uh-huh. Sure. Accident. I was going to kill him. No, worse! I was going to erase his entire bloodline! Before I could gather enough oxygen to yell at him properly, he leaned in, voice just low enough for only me to hear. Should I change your contact name to Kisser Extraordinaire now? Or do you prefer Hopelessly in Love? I was never going to live this down! Ever! I went home. Humiliation still lingers in my body. I immediately head to the bathroom, hoping to wash away whatever happened earlier. Damn it! kiss. I opened the shower and let the water drench on my body. I hate that guy. Elijah. He really knows how to get in my head. Oh no! Anyway, that was Bully's Love Trap. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. If you guys do want to play this for yourselves, I'll be linking the developer's link in the description below. Surprisingly, this is actually one of the 2 yaoi visual novels that I found to have been made by traditionally eroge developers. This was actually made by the same developer who made an eroge about a lady who grows a massive horse. And I genuinely enjoyed this one. I feel like the pacing is just right. I definitely enjoyed the story so far. I think it's incredibly sweet, and I'm genuinely curious to see where exactly it's going to go in the future. And supposedly it's actually going to be releasing early next year, so hopefully we'll actually get some updates soon enough, and I'll be updating you on that once it drops. But in the meantime, thank you all so much for watching. Hope you all have a lovely rest of the day, and as always, I'll be seeing you in the next video. This is Lion, signing off. Ciao.